took my gavel. Okay.
Hello.
That's all right. Good evening, or good afternoon. The Committee on Fiscal Affairs is called to order. The first item of business is, first off, Happy New Year to everyone. Second item of business is approval of the minutes of the meeting from our last meeting, November 5th, 2012.
Moving.
It's been moved, it's been seconded. Are there any questions, comments, changes? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the minutes carried. Action item B is a resolution requesting that the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York approve the sale of various works of art donated to the City College by alumnus Charles Offen. The estimated total amount of the sale is $1.2 million. This resolution also requests that the Board authorize the net funds received from such sale to be transferred to and held, managed, and administered by the college and used on its behalf. I'll move the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Item's been seconded. Any questions or comments? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Item C is a resolution requesting that the Board of Trustees of the university authorize the college presidents to waive or defer tuition payments for the spring 2013 semester for those students seriously impacted by Hurricane Sandy and where their economic circumstances preclude their enrollment at CUNY. Hurricane Sandy was an extraordinary event that seriously disrupted the lives of many students and imperiled their educational aspirations. The university is sensitive to these needs and is providing tuition waivers and deferments to those students whose economic situation was made so dire by the storm that they no longer have sufficient financial resources to enroll at a CUNY college for the spring 2013 semester. I will move this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? I have one question. How does one determine seriously impacted?
They go to their financial aid office and make a claim and explain it, and it's being handled on a college basis.
It's being handled college by college?
Right.
With consistent rules between the schools? Or?
Yes, and as Senior Vice Chancellor Shaw said, it's been, for the fall semester, it was handled on an individual college basis as students, came to their respective college with, their, issues of hardship, whether it was financial or other. And so wanted to put a university-wide policy in place to cover those situations.
It's similar to that.
Do we have any idea as to the cost?
No, but we think that that at each of our campuses, it won't be a burdensome cost at any individual campuses. We had approximately 7,700 students that lived in Zone A. Now, just because students lived in Zone A doesn't mean that they necessarily have a financial hardship, and if they do, as you know, a lot of our students receive full Pell and full TAP, and so their tuition may be covered. In addition, there may be some students who lived outside of Zone A that may have some financial hardship. But having said that, we think that the number of students at any one campus isn't going to be overburdensome to any of the campuses, and if it is, we're certainly willing to work with those campuses to help them along.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Now we're on to the information items. The first information item is an update from Janet Crone, the university's Chief Investment Officer, based on the performance through November.
Thank you. Just want to spend a moment going over some context on the market before we discuss the pool's return during this period of time.
Could you please speak up?
Yes, and the focus is on the pool's return for the first 11 months of the year. We have an estimate for the 12 months, which I will get to. But before we do that, I just wanted to provide some context on the markets. The global risk assets during this period of time posted solid gains, as you know. However, primarily due to central bank intervention as opposed to any kind of fundamentals. The U.S. equity markets really outperformed all other developed markets and emerging markets. The S&P 500 during the first 11 months was up 15%, whereas the EFA index was up 13.7%, and emerging markets were up 13%. In fixed income markets during this period, sovereign bonds produced rather modest returns of about 2.7%, and U.S. credits produced about a 10% return. High-yield bonds globally were up 17%. So if you take a look at the page 7 in the report that you have, this is basically a summary page of the performance of the main asset classes in the pool, where the second column, CYTD calendar year to date returns through November 30, 2012. You can see that our U.S. equity portfolio returned 14.7%, international equity 12%, hedge funds 2.1%, public real assets 4.2%, and fixed income 5.8%, for a calendar year-to-date return of 9.9%. Our estimated return for the 12 months is 11.5%. So while some of our managers actually underperformed on a relative basis, overall the portfolio is really doing very nicely. And I think I'll leave it at that. If anybody has any specific questions on the markets or managers.
Any questions? Just one, Janet, you mentioned 11.5%. Well, I know the return actual was 9.9, but what is the 11.5?
The 11.5 is an estimated return for the 12 months.
This is enough.
This is an, I got it. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Janet. The next information item is an update on the audit subcommittee on the meeting that was held on December 18th. I believe Barry will be giving that report, but before we do that, I just want to commend Barry for all of his great service to the university. I understand this is your last week. You're retiring. It's unfortunate.
Again.
Unfortunate for you. Again? Oh, well.
He's a miserable failure.
We'll
as a
see you again.
retiree.
I know what that's like when you come
Thank you.
back. Thank you.
Many of my colleagues don't let me forget the fact that I've had a couple of retirements, so thank you very much. We had a meeting of the audit subcommittee on December 18th, in which KPMG, our auditors, had presented the university's 2012 financial statements. This was a clean audit. I might add that for the past 10 years, at least since I have been the controller, all the audits have been clean in the sense that they have all wound up with unqualified opinions, and I think that that's something that I'm really quite pleased about. This audit in particular, according to what KPMG had reported to the subcommittee, there were no adjustments, and this is the first time in 5 years that there were no adjustments that had to be made in the audit. And once again, I think this speaks quite well to the work of the staff. The financial statements, the audit of the financial statements, are only one of 4 deliverables that KPMG presents. The financial statements being the first one, the senior college financial statements being a second deliverable, and the other 2 are the A133 report, which is really a review of the university's performance with the federal financial aid programs, and finally there's a management letter that the auditors issue in which they talk about any specific concerns. I can tell you in advance that there are no serious issues that the auditors will be calling to attention, and you will hear about the other 3 deliverables in the months to come. So all in all, I think it was a good audit. It was a very good audit, and I think this speaks to the work of the staff, Miriam Katowitz on my left, the Deputy Controller, and Tom Zhao, who has been instrumental in the last number of years in producing the document Tom is the associate controller, and I think without their work and the work of the staff, this would not have come about. So I want to thank them publicly and also thank the committee.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Fastest meeting in 10 years.